Stay back, my dear. While I may not have been trained in the trenches of your future's warfare, or ever before used this ray sword of yours, it would not require any of your fancy footwork for me to rend this fool's neck from his body. You should not have been so crudely selfish. You will not prevent me from saving my people by just vanishing with the very tool that could mean their salvation. I will be taking the time carriage alone. I do apologize for stranding you. Your deaths bring me no joy, even if temporary. When those rockets descend in a few moments, I do not envy the pain that will sear your flesh as you melt away. Take solace in knowing that your deaths will soon be unwritten, although it will not be you who are saved, but past reflections of yourselves, who will take your place as you are physically, then historically unmade. But before you are washed from the pages and recast by pale doppelgangers, know that you will die in the company of thousands of your betters, who share the same curse of being erased. I will unmake this horrific world, and I will ensure that the prince will suffer over and over for the thousands of deaths he has written. He will know their sorrow as I have. Goodbye, my dear Morgana. Skip, I go on to be the unsung hero you never could be, with only my own memory as testament.
Well, that's what you get for orating.
You sabotaged the time carriage.
And he sabotaged my skull. I'd call us even. Give me a hand, would you?
But how?
He never understood the practicalities of predestination. The past can't be unmade, only acted out. Anything that can be damaged in the past has already been changed to begin with. He failed to account for the fact that I have always won that standoff, because in a few minutes I will go back and sabotage his attempt. Only one of us could win, and it's always been me.
Where is your honor?
The back of my head has a lump that would see that as a point of contention. Not all of us are Amazonian warrior women from the year 80,085 AD. And that's why I prefer to experience the future rather than meddle in a relative past. Futility doesn't agree with me. Help me move him out of the carriage, would you? We're pressed for time. Incoming tubes of genocide and all. Don't worry, he's not dead yet. Although unfortunately, he soon will be.
And so we're just going to leave him and all these people to die?
I'm afraid so. They all die in a few moments no matter what we do. Remember that memorial garden last week? By last week, I mean 200 years from now. It was dedicated to poor Gregor here and all his people. That knowledge drove him to madness. It gave him a futile, miserable amount of hope. His final days were worse because of it. Anyone we try to save here would merely see their doom coming earlier. Besides, with the damage to the time carriage, it can only see 2 of us now. Better to afford these people a few moments to lead their lives as if they'll see tomorrow.
Will we see tomorrow?
We'll see. Any day you want, darling.
On to gladder times, please.
I see them coming just on the horizon.
Let us go. I would much prefer not to talk about the bombs any longer.
I wasn't.
Join us again next time for another hopefully more upbeat episode of Time Carriage. But now stay tuned for intrigue and excitement on tonight's Walker and O'Dare.
Good evening, radio fans, and welcome to another exciting episode of Walker and O'Dare. Jimmy Walker is a former thief trying to change his ways. With the help of his quick-thinking gal Friday, Trix O'Dare, a former vaudevillian, he seeks justice while avoiding the law. Tonight's episode, The Sandman Cometh. But first, a word from our sponsor. Ladies, do you find other brands of cigarettes too harsh? Does your throat become dry and raspy after just 2 or 3 cigarettes? Try new Capone cigarettes for women. They are double roasted, so they'll keep your throat and voice feeling and sounding as pristine as a schoolgirl's. The brand name you already trust for everything from industry-leading lead china and fine silver to reasonably absorbent mops and sanitary napkins now has your health and comfort in mind with a full line of tobacco products designed specifically for women. Ladies chewing tobacco coming soon. The Capone Tobacco Company denounces any actions taken by any incarcerated individuals of a similar yet unaffiliated name. We now take you to the office of one Herman Rothschild, an art collector in Paris. For 25 years, some of the most important works of art to ever be created in Europe have passed through the hands of this man. But his days collecting great masterworks have recently come to a sad end. Only 24 hours ago, the body of Herman Rothschild was found brutally murdered in this same room. The police are baffled and would no doubt be intrigued to know who it is that now rummages through the murdered man's effects and papers.
Where is it? Where could it have gone?
It's not here, Talbot.
What the devil?
The dataless key. It's not here.
Do you have it?
If I did, would I be sitting here talking to you?
Do you know where it is?
No. But I think we both have a pretty good idea who's after it.
That's impossible.
Is it? He must have figured out that Rothschild had the key. Looks like he tried to make the old boy tell him where it was.
I tell you, it cannot be. Renee is dead.
Did you hear about how Rothschild died?
Please don't.
The coroner said it must have taken hours.
Stop it.
I guess the first hour or so was just to get the information he needed. The rest was just for fun.
For heaven's sake, stop. It's impossible. Renee the dope
And
is dead.
there was one little detail that they went into at inquest. Something about the dead man's eyes.
No.
Gone. Ripped clear out of his skull. Funny thing, don't you think? Does that remind you of anything? Because it made me think of someone.
Dear God.
Time to face up to it, Talbot. The Sandman's not dead, and he's not finished either.
What will you do?
What will I do? You mean, what will we do? You think he doesn't know who was behind that attempt to pull him over? That little plan had your fingerprints all over it. It's your fat carcass he's after first. Then, he'll settle accounts with Jimmy and me. Maybe if we just let him have you, he'd be content with that.
You wouldn't do that to me, would you, Angel? Not to poor old Talbot.
I would if I thought it would do any good. But sadly, I think I'm gonna need your help if I'm gonna finish the Sandman once and for all. And I'll need the ghost.
That may be something of a problem.
I know. Word is, he's been roadblocked.
Oh, it's worse than that. He's been converted. Some little twist has him on the straight and narrow.
How the mighty have fallen.
Don't take it personally, dearie. We all have the one that got away.
Watch your step, old man, or Renee'll be the least of your problems. Can you get in touch with Jimmy?
He made it rather clear he didn't want to hear from me. But I'll lay you odds he's already heard from Renee, or will soon.
Try to reach out to him all the same, and leave the roadblock to me.
The next day in a quiet Parisian neighborhood.
Whew! This trek up to the 6th floor gets longer every day. Oh. Now, if I can just set these bags down and find my keys. Oh, here we are. I'll just put this stuff in the kitchen, and it would seem the man of the house is not yet up. Jimmy! Oh, Jimmy! Come meet the day. What's left of it? Oh, come on, Jimmy, it's 2 in the afternoon. I got the fixings for Blintz's.
What?
I figured that would get your attention. Up, Jimmy, the afternoons are wasting.
I had a late night.
So did I. But I still got out and got us some stuff for breakfast if you're interested.
Well, I'm interested. It's just that it's cozy in here, even if it is a little lonely.
Oh, no you don't. I'm hungry. I'm going to make myself some delicious Blintz's, and anybody who knows what's what is welcome to join me, provided he's willing to get out of bed. Otherwise, I eat them all myself. And oh, I'm officially taking the receiver off out of the drawer and putting it back on the hook. We're back in touch with civilization, Mr. Walker.
And she even cooks. All right, let's get a move on. All ready?
Jimmy, can you get that?
Sure. Hello?
Hello, Jimmy. You know who this is.
No.
I got a riddle for you. Hope you know the answer. How do you hurt someone when he's already a ghost?
It can't be. Oh, good grief.
Who was that, honey?
Nothing, baby. Where the hell's that shoe?
Well, hey, where's the fire? Breakfast will be ready for a few more minutes and you didn't have to put on a shirt.
You see my tie anywhere?
Not where you left it.
Where? Oh, there it is.
What do you want a tie for? It's just dust. Not that I mind when you pretty yourself up. Here, let me tie it for you.
It's all right. I got it.
Well, all right. But listen, what's the gag?
What gag?
Well, what you did to this picture.
Huh?
Well, yeah, the picture of us that was sitting on the sitting room table. My eyes have been scratched out. Was it something I said? Jimmy, what is it? You look like you've seen a ghost.
I gotta go take care of something. You stay here and you don't go out until I come back.
What?
Listen, don't open the door for anyone. If I ring the bell 3 times before I let myself in, it'll be twice long and once short.
Jimmy, you're scaring me.
Listen, there's nothing to be afraid of. Just sit tight and I'll get back as soon as I can.
You're not leaving until you tell me what's going on.
I don't have time, Trix.
Well, then I'll go with you.
No, please. Just stay here and hang tight. I'll explain it later.
Jimmy, wait! You said no more secrets.
I can't understand it. I've been calling all morning, but the line has been dead.
He probably has the phone off the hook. Jimmy always did that.
Whatever for.
Because he didn't want to be disturbed.
Well, he's going to be more than disturbed if the Sandman gets to him before we do.
Hey, buddy, you can't just barge in here.
Hey, out of my way, pal. I'm here to see the boss.
Mr. Talbot don't just see just anybody, pal.
Yeah, well, he'll see me.
Oh, yeah? This party is invite only, and your name ain't on the guest list.
Do you even know my name?
I know if you don't lay off pretty soon, it's gonna be mud.
You're new around here, aren't you?
Goodness sake, excuse me a moment, my dear. Ryan! Let the gentleman through.
Sure, boss.
You better watch it, Sonny. You might just make enemies.
I can handle guys like you.
You don't know guys like me.
I don't care if you're Jimmy Walker himself.
The hired help around here ain't what it used to be.
He's new. He'll learn. And you haven't been here in a while, my boy.
I'm not here to talk old times, Talbot. I'm here to... Angel.
Hello, Ghost.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. Apparently I've been demoted. You used to use my real last name last time we spoke.
I'm sorry, Carmen.
And you were sorry then, too.
If you kids need a minute...
Of course not. Listen, we should talk about the Sandman. I got a call from him today.
So did I.
Our little chat happened last night.
Well, what'd he say to you?
He said Angel Eyes would be looking pretty good in a jar on his desk.
That sounds familiar. What do you think he wants?
Other than revenge, you two did lock him in a bank vault for the police to find.
Well, if he just wanted us dead, he wouldn't have given us a warning. He would have just woken up with a penknife in our eye sockets. No, something else is up. But what is it?
Jimmy, Herman Rothschild is dead.
What?
He died a week after telling me he had found the Daedalus key.
Oh, good grief. That bloody thing actually exists?
It's true. He showed it to me. And it was just like Renee said it would be. An illuminated manuscript, 5th century at the latest of Latin text that reads like gibberish, and it's probably encrypted. Herman said he was close to cracking it.
It's real? All this time I thought that the Renee was just raving.
It was always real enough to Renee. This isn't the first time he killed for it either. First, there was that researcher in Dublin, and that bookseller in Marseille.
And now Rothschild. We should have offed the Sandman when we had a chance.
We did what we could. We put him on ice for a while. It was the police who bungled it.
This doesn't make any sense. Last I checked, Renee Vidocq was at the bottom of the sin.
That's the official story. When you two left him for the authorities, he broke loose long enough to take a child hostage and have a standoff on the Pont Louis Philippe Bridge. Somebody put a bullet right through his throat, and the last he was seen, he was hurling backward into the river.
What's the unofficial story?
There isn't one. No one's heard from Vidocq since that day until poor Herman turned up, with his eyes missing.
Angel, do you think that Renee has the Daedalus key?
I don't think so. I know Rothschild didn't keep it in his office. Said he had a special place for it. Under torture, he might have given it up, but I'm not sure. You know Herman.
Yeah, tough old goat. Still, Renee could be very persuasive.
If Renee had the book, he wouldn't be calling us up to make trouble. He'd be trying to crack the code.
Well, that's true enough, but he'd make time for us eventually, unless he wants to pick up where he left off.
What do you mean?
Renee told Jimmy and me that we had been selected to help him accomplish whatever the Daedalus Key was supposed to do. He kept going on about this quest. That was part of the reason we put him on the spot.
So he plans to get you two to help him? An odd choice, all things considered.
I doubt he plans to let bygones be bygones.
What is the Daedalus Key supposed to get you, anyway?
Enlightenment, magic powers, buried treasure, I don't know. I stopped listening after a while. I hung around Renee to learn the ropes, but not because I wanted to join his crusade.
He was brilliant at what he did.
The best I'd ever seen. But there's something wrong with a guy that could sneak in anywhere without making a sound, but then looks for reasons to hurt people. I once saw him knock over a Ming vase so that a night watchman would come running and he could beat the living daylights out of the guy. If it was an accident, I'm the Queen Mother.
Come on, Jimmy. None of us got into this business because we're nice people.
True.
Well, children, it would seem we're stuck with the question of what to do next.
Well, I guess our best bet is to try to find the book before Renee does. At least then we could use it as a bargaining chip.
Or bait for a trap.
Well, anything is better than sitting around waiting for him to make his move. Any idea where Rothschild might have stashed the book, Angel?
I know a good place to start.
Where?
The library at Sorbonne. Rare books department. Herman was doing research there. Perhaps he had it hid there as well.
The place would be closed by now. Perfect time for us to visit.
Well, it's starting to feel like the old days around here.
Yeah, well, don't get too used to it.
Really, Jimmy? For a guy who's turned over a new leaf, you've got quite the high-profile shadow.
Shadow? Who's shadowing me?
Maybe it's just coincidence, but not 2 days after you came back from Paris, that limey Seamus everyone spooked up showed up. And rumor has it something went missing in Cairo.
Well, don't you just have all the answers?
Oh, don't get touchy. I have my sources. I need to keep tabs when somebody like Major Reginald Conway shows up in town. It's generally a sign to lie low.
Nah, he ain't so much.
No? I heard he got you out of a jam.
No, what of it?
Is this professional jealousy, Mr. Walker P.I., or is it something more?
I'm curious what went missing in Cairo.
Well, I couldn't say for certain, but apparently someone's pretties walked out of her hotel room all by themselves.
And did the prodigal son plan to come home?
I wasn't sure I'd be able to pay our way back to Paris.
Kiddo, you could have written if you needed dough.
I wasn't that hard up. And I'm not now. And for your information, I was planning to send the stuff back. What's so funny?
Oh, Jimmy, you're so cute in your halo, but I always liked you better in horns.
Send it back. Don't be ridiculous. When this is all blown over, you show me what you snagged and we'll talk about a price. Just like always.
Are we forgetting that there's a knife-wielding lunatic about? I feel like we're forgetting that.
Yes, you two run along. I'm afraid you may have to finish that rather unpleasant business you tried to avoid last time. Hope you're prepared to do what's necessary.
I think we know what we gotta do.
Good luck, then.
We'll need more than luck to take out the Sandman.
Oh, no. Hello?
Horace J. Talbot.
Speaking.
They say Jimmy the Ghost used to be your boy.
What of it?
Bad for business, him taking a powder like that.
So it was. Not that it's any of your concern.
Would sure be nice if he could come back to the fold, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. But sadly unlikely on account of certain, shall we say, female entanglements.
What if I told you certain entanglements could be untangled for the right price?
I'm listening.
What do you mean I can't stay? My money's just as good as any guy's in this dump.
Sorry, madame, but the rules are no unescorted females are allowed in the Club de Lune.
Says who? I got just as much right to be here as any other chump who needs a drink.
Ladies cannot be here alone.
Who told you I was a lady? Wait a minute, you're taking hands on me, you made me
She's
son of
with
a...
me, barkeep.
Holy maracas.
You are this lady's escort, sir?
Yes, now if you kindly unhand my friend here. Thank you. And now I'll take a Campari and soda and a silver fizz for the lady.
Make it a double. You turn up in the darndest places, Major.
I rather think I came in the nick of time just then.
There are worse things than getting thrown out of a bar.
I hope having dinner with me wouldn't be among them.
Sure. I'll let John Law pay the bill.
Good, and you can tell me the reason you're not already engaged for the evening.
Can't say I know the reason myself, Major, but I'll lay you odds she's got dark hair and wears French perfume.
I wouldn't have thought that was his taste.
There's a lot you don't realize about Jimmy at first.
How did you get in here without Walker?
I let some college boy pick me up. Turned out he was quite a lightweight. After the first couple of rounds, he passed out and I lost track of him. You think less of me now, don't you?
On the contrary, I enjoy a woman who knows what she wants.
That only works if she wants what's good for her. I never do. Just look at me. Here I am, crying out a cop's shoulder just because some two-timing con man can't stand to have just me on his dance card. Not 5 minutes after he walks out of our apartment like there's a bomb in the building, some dame calls up and asks if I've asked for him. Seems real pleased when she hears he's already left. But I didn't waste time then. Slipped into the slinkiest thing I could find and waited just long enough for it to get dark. You know what the sad part is? I'm still crazy about him. I'm drunk as a skunk and mad enough to spit, and all I can do is wonder if I'm ever going to see him again. Women, huh?
Do you have any idea why you left in such a hurry?
Still a cop. Well, you're barking up the wrong tree here, pal. It's a shame what he's doing to me, but there's no law against it.
But why would...
Well, you ask a lot of questions, Conway. Let me ask a few. How is it that you just happen to be at this club 4 blocks from my apartment at the very moment when I'm most likely to let something slip? In fact, what are you doing in Paris at all?
My business here is twofold.
Oh.
First off, I'm following a hunch. A small item that went missing from the dresser of a Mrs. Farnsworth Nightingale, who was staying at the Hotel Monolith at the same time you were guests of Mr. Forsyth, and immediately before you two abruptly switched hotels.
You couldn't afford the price tag without foresight to foot the bill. You know that.
True enough, but it still doesn't explain the missing item.
What was taken?
A sapphire stick pin.
Sounds nice, but I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yes, I rather thought you wouldn't.
Oh, did you?
Standard procedure for someone in Walker's position. You can't be made to tell about something you know nothing about, and you can't be charged as an accessory if you know nothing of the crime. Only natural that he would want to keep you in the dark.
Naturally.
Of course, keeping a secret from someone, even to protect them, is a dangerous business. Almost never ends well, wouldn't you say?
No. Almost never.
Eventually the past always seems to find us.
What's the other reason you're here?
I was called in on a case. You see, my specialty is art and jewel theft. I'm rather well known in certain circles, and occasionally I'm called across borders to assist with particularly baffling affairs.
You sound like Sherlock Holmes, a consulting detective. What, I can't know who Sherlock Holmes is? I can read, you know.
Of course. Just flattered, that's all. Anyway, the Parisian police have asked for my expertise in a rather brutal killing that happened the day before yesterday. A fellow named Rothschild. Ever heard of him?
Nope.
Strange. I was nearly certain Walker and he had dealings. In any event, it would appear from the state of the corpse that the Sandman is back.
The who?
Rene Vidocq, a.k.a. the Sandman. Started out as a thief and burglar, then graduated to what I can only describe as pleasure killing. A cruel sort. Seems to enjoy inflicting pain on people, especially those who have things he believes he should have. His favorite trick was gouging out the eyes, hence the name Sandman.
Gouging out eyes?
Yeah, it's hardly a pretty thing. I say, Miss O'Dare, you don't look well. Have I said something to upset you?
No, it's nothing. I just... Do you dance, Major?
Well, I've been known to.
Then let's dance.
If you insist.
Across town, outside the Sorbonne Library building, 2 figures crouch on a second-story ledge. Somewhere in the midst of the quiet, a keen ear would be able to pick out the almost imperceptible sound of a glass cutter, followed by the click of a window latch.
Ladies first.
Oh, Gallia.
Well, we're in. Which way to the rare books department?
This way. I was helping Herman with his research before he died. I can show you where we were working.
All right. So, what you been doing lately?
A little of this, a little of that. I like to keep busy. I pulled a job in Brussels last month.
Brussels. So you're the one who swiped that Madonna from the Galerie Nationale.
You snitch what you don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. Whoever pulled that job used a trick she learned in a job back in England. She saw a guy pull it off beautifully at a country estate in East Hampshire. That's all I'm saying.
Atta girl. Ah, I almost forgot. We used a hawthorn lift on that job.
The first time I'd ever tried it.
Hey, you remember the zigzag we used in New York?
Or the rabbit run in Mexico City.
Or that time in San Diego when we shook loose a Degas?
Always, Jimmy. That was the first time we met.
Yeah, so it was. I had a lot of fun on that gig.
Yeah.
Carmen, I really should explain.
You don't have to explain anything, Jimmy. I understand. I understood then. Besides, here we are. Rare books.
Yeah. So, what you thinking? Maybe Herman left us a clue?
He'd be the type to.
All right, let's look around. If it makes sense, it would be here. Nothing's easier to miss than a book in a library.
You know, Major, you dance all right for a cop.
Well, I'm gratified, Miss O'Dare. Shall we?
Actually, let's sit this one out.
As you wish. What's your favorite tune?
No, it's just that this is our song. Jimmy's and mine.
Ah. Then perhaps we should go out into the terrace.
Sounds fine.
Cigarette?
No, thank you. I only smoke Capone slow roasted for ladies. They're the flavor you crave while preserving a woman's naturally softer tones and vocal range.
Of course. Tell me, Miss O'Dare.
You can call me Trix. Everyone does.
Trix, then. Tell me, why don't you return to America?
Don't you love Paris?
Paris is a charming city, but any city can become a prison if one cannot leave it.
What an odd thing to say.
Perhaps, but it is an important question, particularly for you.
Major, I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't think I want to hear any more.
It might be difficult to hear, but I really think you should listen. I might be able to help.
Oh, help. Sure you want to help. Everybody wants to help. But I've had that kind of help before, and quite frankly...
Beatrice, I know about Carrie Brooks.
No. Nobody knows about Carrie Brooks.
I do. I know all about her. And that's why I want to help. Really, it is. You must believe me.
Major! It's all right. You got to the shoulder. You're going to be all right. Help! Help! Somebody! It's all right. I'm going to apply pressure. You'll be okay.
You need to get...
Don't try to speak.
What is going on out here? Sacre bleu!
Call an ambulance. He's been shot.
Hey, you, call for help. Somebody's caught the lead out here.
You need to get out of here.
Major, please.
Beatrice, you've got to run. The bullet was for you.
The library let Herman have a locker here to store his notes. Maybe there's something that can help us. I'll pick the lock and we'll have a look-see.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
What's the matter, Jimmy? You look distracted. Hope I'm not boring you.
Huh? Oh, nothing. I was just thinking maybe I should find a phone and check in with someone.
Well, not wise to make a call from here. We'll find a cafe as soon as we grab the notes. There.
I dashed out in such a hurry, I don't even think I told her where I was going, but I figured with the Sandman loose, I shouldn't waste any time.
Relax, Jimmy. If he was gonna hurt her, he would have done it when he was in your apartment.
How did you know he was in my apartment?
Well, how else did he scratch the eyes out of that photo?
I never told you about that.
Sure you did, Jimmy. You said...
I said I had gotten a phone call. I never said anything about the photo. What the hell's going on here, Angel? You killed Rothschild. You set this whole thing up. It was you.
Jimmy.
Oh, there ain't no Daedalus key, and the Sandman didn't come back from the dead. It was you. Why? Why'd you do it? Answer me.
For you, Jimmy. I did it for you. You're throwing your life away over a broad that you know nothing about.
Oh, for crying out loud. That's what this is about?
I didn't mean to kill Rothschild, but he wouldn't help me and things got out of hand. I was desperate, Jimmy. Crazed, even. The man said that if somebody didn't do something, you were going to get caught in that crossfire.
What crossfire?
He wouldn't say, oh, but you gotta stay away from her, Jimmy.
Who said this?
I got a call last week. Oh, Jimmy, baby, please. All you gotta do is just let nature take its course.
Where's Trix?
Things can be the way they were.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
The way they ought to be.
Hands off!
Fine. Have it your way. But it's not gonna do you any good.
What have you done?
It's your turn, Jimmy. You're gonna find out what it's like to lose something you love.
Where's that key? Oh, God. Jimmy? Jimmy?
In here.
Oh, baby, thank God you're here. Why are you sitting in the dark? Oh, it doesn't matter, baby, listen to me. There's something I gotta tell you. I should have told you a long time ago, but I was afraid to. I've got some nerve, I know, but... Oh, please, Jimmy, look at me. Please. Oh, my God, who are you?
Good evening, Miss O'Dare. I understand that's one of your names. Oh, and please, don't scream. I've already expended a considerable sum to ensure that Jimmy will believe you left of your own accord. No sense spoiling the illusion now.
What do you want?
From you? Nothing. To be honest, I'm only here to see you. I wanted to take a look at the reason one of my best sources of income dried up, however temporarily. I suppose Jimmy will take it hard at first, but he'll get over it. He'll find your things packed up and gone, and the money in the cupboard missing, and he'll figure his angel of redemption gave up on trying to reform him and cut her losses. It was a lost cause anyway. Only a matter of time before he came crawling back to old Talbot.
I'm no angel, and Jimmy doesn't crawl.
You think you know him so well. Where is he right now? And with whom? And I must say, that's some ring you're not wearing.
Why are you doing this?
Truth is, it's not really me who is doing it. I just paid that it be done in a way to ensure a rebound in my financial situation. It's these gentlemen here who are the motivating force.
No. Not you.
Hello, Carrie.
Does this mean the end of Walker and O'Dare? Stay tuned for our next episode, Who is Carrie Brooks? But first, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. We will now select 2 people from our studio audience to participate in our trivia challenge and test their knowledge of current events and recent history. For those of you who are listening at home, I have in my hand a hat filled with the names of the people in our studio audience, and one of my castmates is about to make the selection.
Do we have any more entries? No? All right.
All right.
And so our lucky contestants are going to be Brittany H. And Bridget. Oh.
Now, after the question is read, the first one of you to do you have a bell here? Yes.
No.
You came to show without a bell.
Just kick someone. We now have a bell. So.
Magic of radio, ladies and gentlemen.
After the question is read, the first one of you to ring the bell will be given the chance to answer it. You'll have 5 seconds to do so. There are 3 questions, and whoever answers the most correctly wins the secret prize. We'll begin with question number 1.
This Hollywood tough guy rocketed into fame after he uttered the line, "Is this the end of Rico?" In the last few minutes in the film, Little Caesar.
Well, the answer is Edward G. Robinson. And now the next question.
On November 4th, 1922, the tomb of Tutankhamun was discovered in the Valley of Kings during an expedition led by this archaeologist.
You guys have to come on current events?
Well, current is a relative term.
This happened last year. I mean, come on.
The answer is...
Wait.
Oh,
Shirley Temple.
a valiant effort.
Suspicion,
But the answer is actually Howard Carter.
All right.
So our final question.
This is the tiebreaker right here.
A founding member of the Algonquin Round Table, this poet, critic, and short story writer published this collection of poems, Enough Rope, in 1926.
I think that might have been a little before their time.
It's a real barn burner, folks.
They are 6 years old, after all.
The answer is Dorothy Parker, but thankfully, folks, we're all winners. So, we'd like to be considering our prize, and we'd like to thank our contestants.
How much you each take 2 sodas? Water, physics, summer serve, Pittsburgh soda. Some cold shaving razors. You can pick those up after the show. Like a little dangerous if you do.
We'll now be taking a 10-minute intermission.
Wonderful job, ladies.